Hello friends, welcome to Easy GST for You. I am your host Girish Kulkarni and I welcome you all to today's video tutorial on EWay bill, that is electronic way bill. During this video, we are going to discuss all the important provisions related to electronic way bill, that is EWay bill, which are there in the CGST law as well as rules which are prescribed. Now, firstly, we will try to understand what are the benefits because of which, considering which, this EWay bill concept has been introduced. First of all, we should understand that it is the most effective way of tracking the movement of goods from point A to point B. We all know that in spite of excellent legislation like GST Act, there were also certain transactions which were not recorded in the books of accounts related to sale of goods, which we in our normal language call as a grey or black market. Due to introduction of EWay bill, this movement under grey market would be curtailed to a good volume. So this is again a compliance mechanism wherein the tax evasion part will be targeted to be curtailed down. Also, another very important aspect is that because of introduction of EWay bill, there is going to be a uniformity across the nation regarding this movement of goods and following the other provisions of GST law. Also, we all know that the transporters basically are suffering due to the long queues which were there on the check post at the time of entering any state. So the time which was wasted in waiting on in those check queues will be reduced because there won't be any check post under GST law, and there will be EWay bill. This EWay bill will be sufficient to comply with all such provisions which were there earlier through check posts. Also, this amazing fact is that there won't be any different EWay bills for different state. It will be valid across the nation, and hence in assessee if sending goods from, let's say, Kanyakumari to Delhi, you will have to issue ideally one EWay bill and not a separate EWay bill for separate states through which the goods will be moving. Also, due to this, a lot of savings of the economy is going to happen. Approximate figure which was statistically data from the data statistically collected was approximately 2300 crores of rupees. That includes the transportation cost, then which was earlier wasted in waiting, the paper cost, and the increased government revenue, etc. So all these things are the plus points or the advantages because of which EWay bill mechanism has been developed, and this is going to be developed in the country. Now, by this time, you must be aware that all the interstate movements, that is movement from state A to state B, where two states are involved, there is already the EWay bill provisions are introduced. From 1st April 2018, all the interstate movements of goods are under the provisions of EWay bill. Now, 1st June 2018, from 1st June 2018, all the states will getting covered by these provisions, which means even intrastate movements of goods will be covered by these provisions. So now, what are these provisions? How those are going to affect? Who is supposed to issue EWay bill? We are going to understand in a few minutes time. First of all, EWay bill is a compliance mechanism. Secondly, this has a requirement of digital interface. Means we need to have a system or a cell phone or apps which are there, which will be designed to operate EWay bill system, has to be there. So digital interface is a precondition for that. Also, who is supposed to issue a EWay bill or comply with the EWay provision? The person who is causing the movement of the goods has to issue the EWay bill. When he has to issue the EWay bill or when he has to comply with the provisions of EWay bill, it is prior to the starting of the movement of the goods. So prior to the commencement of movement, he has to comply with the provisions of EWay bill. He has to generate the EWay bill on the portal. Now portal is given as www.ewaybill.nic.in. Initially it was made applicable from 1st of February 2018, but some technological issues were faced, and hence it was delayed with effect from 1st of April 2018. And as I said earlier, from 1st of June all the intrastate movements will be compulsory. I mean, all the states have different dates for introduction of their own intrastate movements. The latest date is 31st of May. So these were the background information about EWay bill. Now we'll try to understand which are the notifications which are closely related to this EWay bill's provision. Now firstly, the notification number 10/2017, which was issued on 28th of June 2017, wherein there was a rule 138 which was inserted in the regulations. Then there was notification number 27/2017 issued on 30th August 2017, which gave the detailed prescribed rules related to EWay bill as to how these provisions are going to govern. Then there was one notification number 34/2017 issued on 15th September 2017, which gave the details of provision of job work and handicraft, wherein it was told that for interstate job work and some handicraft material, the threshold limit which has been now prescribed will not be applicable. So these movements will be irrespective of the amount of the goods transported. Then on notification number 74/2017, which was issued on 29th of December 2017, which made the applicability of EWay bills effective from 1st of February. Then notification number 3/2018, which was issued on 23rd January 2018, wherein all the EWay bill rules were replaced and amended and upgraded. Then there was a notification number 11/2018, which was issued on 2nd February 2018, which cancelled the earlier notification number 74, which prescribed the effective date. So that is the reason it was extended. And notification 15/2018, probably the latest central notification related to it, which was issued on 23rd March 2018, which said that the applicability of the EWay bills will be with effect from 1st of April 2018. So these were the all notification. I just gave you the flow of all the notification. If anyone wants to go through the chain of notifications and understand how that concept was developed, then he or she may go through all such notifications. Now, before going to the rules, where is the provision in the act to go for such kind of mechanism? So we should go to section 68 subsection 1, 2 and 3, which prescribes that the government may require a person in charge of a conveyance carrying any consignment of goods of value exceeding such amount as may be specified to carry with him such documents or such device as prescribed. So they have given an enabling provisions under section 68(1) and subsection 2 and 3 as well, wherein they say that the government may prescribe certain regulations wherein a person who is making a movement of goods from place A to place B has to carry certain documents along with him, which is under which these rules are notified, which say that EWay bill needs to be carried along with the movement of the goods. Also, it should be validated in such a manner which will be prescribed, which gives the basic concept, enabling provision for the regulative rules of 138 rule. Then also the provisions related to what a officer may ask from you if the transporter is stopped by the proper officer. Then what he may ask is the enabling provision which is given under subsection 3 of section 68. So these were the legislative background of the law. So these were the provisions related to EWay bill. Now we are going to understand the applicability of EWay bill, to whom it is applicable, when it is applicable, when it is not applicable. We are going to understand all these provisions. So if we see, it is applicable in relation to supply, in relation to any movement other than supply, and in relation to inward supply from an unregistered dealer to a registered person. Now all these three movements are covered by this EWay bill provisions. So EWay bill will be required in three cases: normal outward supply, which we may consider as a sale of goods, example. Second is any movement other than supply. So a job work movement may be a movement of goods in case of other than supply. And thirdly, inward supply, if I am a registered person and I am buying goods from an unregistered person, then in that case, that movement is also covered by the provisions of EWay bill. So which movement of goods we saw? Then it says consignment value exceeding 50,000 rupees. So all the consignment values will be, if lesser than 50,000, EWay bill will not be applicable. So they have given a basic threshold of rupees 50,000. If below which the goods, the consignment is valuing, then you need not issue a EWay bill. So three questions will come in mind when I say consignment value below 50,000. Question number one, whether a consignment means invoice or physical batch. Question number two, whether I can split the invoices. And thirdly, rupees 50,000, whether it is inclusive of taxes or exclusive of taxes. So first you will understand the third question, whether 50,000 limit is inclusive of taxes or exclusive of taxes. So it has been clearly given that consignment value exceeding 50,000, and consignment value has been specifically defined, which says value of goods add CGST, SGST or IGST. So taxes are included in the value of 50,000. So if it is a possibility that even if the value of goods is lesser than 50,000, EWay will be applicable because it is inclusive of taxes. So this was the first answer. Second, whether the consignment means invoice or a physical batch. So it has nothing to do with physical batch. It clearly links your value of the invoice. So if the invoice value is less than 50,000, then you need not issue the EWay bill. Thirdly, whether splitting of invoices allowed or not. So from the answers of question number 1 and 2, I will try to correlate with this. Generally, when I say consignment value, it means the invoice value exceeding 50,000. So if I have to dispatch goods worth rupees 60,000, can I do 30,000, 2 invoices? May be possible, may not be possible, depending upon the goods, the batches. Let me tell you, tax evasion and tax planning, there is a thin line of gap between it. And in GST regime, the provisions are so very strict and the penalties are so huge that one should not try such things. And in my opinion, EWay bill should be issued because see, it doesn't end there. When the goods will reach to the recipient, it will lie in the godown or the factory of the recipient. What if the authorities visit the factory just half an hour after the goods reach there? They can ask that when the goods were received, what are the EWay bill references? So are we in a position to explain that this bill was splitted into 32 invoices and 2 separate invoices were issued just to avoid the EWay bill rules? Especially when if you'll understand that the provisions of issuing EWay bill, the process, it's very simple, that one should not go on splitting the invoices. It's better that EWay bills are issued appropriately. Thirdly, is there any exception for 50,000 limit? The answer is yes. Some of the handicraft goods which are given in the notification and interstate job work, if the goods even below 50,000, one has to issue the EWay bill. In that case, the threshold of 50,000 will not be applicable. So these were the very important provisions related to basic chargeable section of rule of EWay. Now we'll